We'll move straight on to the next session, which is for mobility and urban tech startups. There'll be 9 companies presenting their innovations today. And please welcome the first startup, which is Hyperloop Italia. Founded in 2020 and hailing from Italy, we're going to welcome on stage Bebop Gresta from Hyperloop Italia. Welcome, Bebop.
Thank you. So, guys, transportation, as you know, it is broken. In every problem, there's behind a big opportunity, as you know. So in one side, you have governments. They are stuck in transportation system. They are not profitable, they are not sustainable, and they are legacy systems. In the other part, there are users, they are unhappy, the user experience sucks, and there's a space for a blue ocean new transportation system, the 5th model transportation, that is called the Hyperloop. For those of you that doesn't know, the Hyperloop is probably you lived in another planet. You imagine to have a capsule full of people, you put this capsule inside a tube, you take out the air from the tube so there's no resistance. Now you can move this capsule from point A to point B at almost the speed of sound using a tiny fraction of the energy. We use sustainable energy, and they are so efficient that we can be energy positive. Now, we are not theoretical of this system. Imagine a capsule of 50 people can depart every 40 seconds, so we can transport 160,000 people a day, 24 million people a year. And we built the first certification track in Toulouse that completed 1,000 full outgassing cycles. Now, the 40 patents after and 60 trademarks, yes, we own the brand Hyperloop in 60 countries. We have been able to assemble one of the top industry ecosystem in the planet. They gave us their technology to build it. There are several other companies that try to do this after us, but we used Hyperloop TT unfair advantage to build the first Hyperloop company. It's called Hyperloop Italia. They took all the licenses and actually started to implement the biggest Hyperloop network in the planet. And we assembled a stellar team of veterans from all over the planet, veterans from the transportation industry. And on 16th of March 2022, I convinced the Italian government to put 800 million on the first tender to build an Hyperloop certification track in Veneto. Our business model is simple. In the development phase, we are getting revenue from feasibility studies, from the exploitation of the brand, and from grants. In the second phase, where we build, we will take 2% on the capex, 5% on every passenger and freight, and 0.35 on the maintenance. And we will be profitable next year. So there are sometimes happens to have an Hyperloop in front of you. You don't want to be remembered for the one who doesn't invest in the Hyperloop. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Bebop. Let's open up the floor to the Q&A session with the jury. Who wants to go first?
Any question? Okay.
I'm curious, with such achievements, how much money was invested until today? What's a cap table?
So in Hyperloop Italia, there is a brand new company. We did a seed round of 300,000 in cash and 700,000 in kind. We use a special contribution model. We have now closed a term sheet for 1.5 million from a primary energy company that is stock listed in Italy at a 60 million evaluation. And we are heading for a round of 6 million at the same evaluation.
So you're basically going to license the technology. I mean, you're not going to do more of an operation.
Exactly. So our strategy, we understood that the Hyperloop system could not be built in local region without a local partner. So instead of trying to build, manage, and operate all the Hyperloop around the world, we have decided to design a licensing system with embedded an insurance from Munich Re, the top reinsurer in the planet, to actually de-risk the technology. And it's a complete new business model that we are applying for the first time in Italy in this first line. Will be for the 2026 Winter Olympics in Venice.
And can you talk a little bit about the competition?
Yeah, I mean, there are other companies. We own the brand Hyperloop, but we are very happy. We promised to Elon and to the entire industry that we were not blocking anyone that wants to do the Hyperloop. There are several other companies. The most famous one is Hyperloop One. Let's say they've been ups and downs in different stages. Now they've been acquired by DP World. The founders are gone. They decided to refocus only in freight because DP World is basically a freight operator. We think that the future of the Hyperloop will be passenger in freight, and we have developed the technology with this vision.
And just to verify, the concept are pipes above the ground, not necessarily tubes inside.
There are two ways to build a Hyperloop. One is above the ground with an infrastructure outside. There's a cut and cover technology, so it means you just dig a hole, you put the tube and then you cover it, and maybe you build on top another highway or a rail system, or through boring technologies where you have to dig. Our future will be probably underground, but right now it's really expensive, so the initial routes that we have studied are above the ground.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the future financing sources after this 800 million? Because 800 million would probably not build so much infrastructure that it becomes really practical for the scale of Italy. And what's the plan after that? Probably it requires 100 times more.
Thank you for the question. It's a very good question. So basically, the main difference between an Hyperloop and a traditional transportation system, no transportation system underground makes money. So they need constant subsidies and giant investments. The Hyperloop demonstrated in more than 12 feasibility studies that will be profitable. We have a return on investment from 8 to 30 years, depending on where you build it. It means you can actually access to money that before were not thinkable, like private monies or project financing. You can fund an Hyperloop line through a normal loan, through a bond. So we think there's an untapped potential, more than 1 trillion. There are 180 billion only in Italy, and we developed our business plan through ANAS, that is the biggest state-owned owner of real estate in Italy. They own the highways. And we have seen only with these 21 lines, you move 180 billion new capex that wasn't existing before.
And you plan to convince the government to subsidize or to invest, so to say, in private investors? And what's like the size of the
Listen, if they are so full to give the entire ownership of the main arteria for goods and passengers to a private company, I will take it. But I think, the government will be involved. At least they usually have a piece of the highway, of the infrastructure. They will replicate the same model, as we have seen in the Veneto project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything online?
Hi. Maybe just a few words about team members.
Yes, so I am a serial entrepreneur, sold my first company when I was 28 to Telecom Italia. I created the largest incubator in Italy, more than 60 companies successfully founded. Some of them were very successful. We listed in a stock exchange, and then I decided to entertain this new adventure in California, and we founded the Hyperloop. I'm the original founder of Hyperloop TT, the first company that actually took this challenge and brought Hyperloop in the market. We have stellar entrepreneur that followed my lead. We have Paolo Sardi, that is a former Merrill Lynch, specialized in ESG. We have Philippe Abba, that managed billions of dollars in infrastructure money. We have several top professors of Bocconi University. That is actually the project manager of the Veneto company. And we have a governmental affair, Roberto, that has been 40 years, we call him the young guy, in the lobbying environment in Italy. So this initial team is sided by the Hyperloop TT engineers that we can access through the American company.
Thank you, Bebop.
You're welcome.
Hyperloop Italia.
It was fun. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. No, you keep that. Okay, let's speed on to our second startup. It's called AV, founded in 2016 and coming from the Netherlands. Please welcome on stage Ben van der Hilst from AV. Ben, welcome. 3 minutes yours.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. My name is Benjamin van der Hilst, and I'm the co-founder and chief customer officer of AV, a drone scale-up from Amsterdam. We all recognize these global trends: climate change, increasing population, and increased complexity of our society. And it is these megatrends that contribute to increasing incidents like forest fires, floods, and big accidents. And that leads to that the pressure on emergency services has never been higher than it is today. Last year, the emergency services in Europe received 250 million calls to be called on for emergency support. And we see a 20% increase year by year. That means that by 2025, we expect 500 million calls to emergency services. Radically new ways are needed to cope with that challenge and the increase of the request for support from emergency services. And we think that we have part of that solution. We build drone response networks for emergency services. These enable data-driven decision-making by emergency services, and they outperform traditional road transport, helicopters, and existing drones, both on cost efficiency and speed of deployment. This is how it works. Can I ask you to turn down the sound? Thank you. So this is how it works. This is a drone station that is stationed in Veluwe National Park in the Netherlands, from where a drone takes off and helps the firefighters in monitoring for fires. Once the algorithms on board detect a fire or smoke, an alarm goes off and the operations center can then coordinate further help. The same network can also be used for transporting medical goods, and actually one of our clients is opening their first commercial route later this year, transporting blood samples between 2 hospitals in the Netherlands. At the end of the mission, the drone returns to its docking station, lands autonomously, and charges for its next mission. The 2 verticals that we target, the emergency response and medical logistics markets, have a combined market value of about $8 billion in 2030, and there's an annual growth rate of 25%. Our revenue went up from 250K project income last year to 1.25 million revenue from hardware sales this year, and we're expecting to do again ×5 next year with 5 million in hardware sales and income from recurring revenue from our services. We are a proud supplier of some of the most reputable companies in their industries and who are changing their industries. We can mention UNFPA, with whom we've done projects in Benin and Botswana, Falk, one of the largest emergency service companies in the world, and Skyparts, who has already raised millions to roll out drone services in the world. I ask you to come fly with us.
Thanks, Ben. Okay, let's open up the floor to questions. Anyone in the room? Okay, let's see if there's anyone from the virtual jury.
What about your competition?
Who should I answer first? So there's a question online about the competition. I think that everybody knows that there's a lot of drone companies out there, and I can say that there's about as many drone companies as there are target use cases. I think that we are unique in our approach, that we are the only drone supplier that builds long-range drones and uses actually this network approach. So we build both the ground infrastructure as well as the aircraft that takes off from it. I see a question there.
Thanks. So actually this is Nadia from Molten Ventures. One of our portfolio companies is actually based in Ireland, and they're a drone company. So my question is scalability, because in Bulgaria, probably majority of the jury already knows Dronamics is a great provider of drones. They actually sign up a contract with IATA, so that's pretty successful. But how do you think about scalability of your business, given that, as one of my colleagues mentioned, there's a lot of competition. They're actually doing a pretty great job, again, building a network effect as well. So how are you looking to scale across Europe and internationally?
Thanks for that question. I would like to point out that I think that we are one of them, of those great companies out there. We've been at it for about 5 or 6 years. We've managed to tie a number of companies that actually had some bad experience with other drone companies in the past. And I'm very proud that we have tied them to our business. I think that for us, the scalability is really in the scalability of our clients. So most of our clients have a roadmap where they start with 1 to 3 vehicles now, but scale to about 100 or 200 in their fleet. We like to go with them on that journey, and that means that we, in 2025, aim to have about 40 customers. So we onboard 6 new customers a year that each build a fleet of about 100 to 200 vehicles.
And just a quick follow-up question. In terms of sectors and customer segmentation, where do you see the biggest increase? What type of customers are you focusing on, especially expanding to 40 customers?
Yeah, so we see mainly 3 types of customers. One is that we have customers that are coming from actually the aviation space, or that already doing trauma helicopters and are now expanding their services with drones. For them, it's an easy step to add that to their business model. There's customers that I mentioned, like Skyports, that actually raise a lot of capital because there's this huge gap in the market. They are new businesses, but they are very successful in raising money. And then there's the third type of client that is really the end user. So some end users still like to have control of the operation, for instance, the Dutch Fire Brigade and the Dutch Police, and they build their own fleets. They are smaller, but they go to 15 or 60 drones in their fleet. And the biggest increase, I think, is in that second category, where you see these companies that are now raising money to address this huge market demand. Let's see a question here.
Can you tell us a bit more about the production capacity that you have, the production cycle and the economics? Like, what are the costs of production and what's your capacity?
Yeah. So in the last couple of years, we really focused on building new products to market. We are now at a level that we produce about 20 or 30 vehicles a year, but we've really prepared for being able to scale that production level. So our production next year will go to 50 vehicles. The year after will be about 150 vehicles. Right now, it takes about a month to produce a vehicle. We have some of the supply chain is externally. So for instance, composites, we do with a partner in the UK. But a lot of the manufacturing of, for instance, PCBs, etc., we do completely in-house. The economics are that right now the cost of goods sold is about at 50K, while the price of sales is about 80K for a bare bones vehicle. But there's a massive opportunity for cost downs actually in this production. It's really something that we haven't really focused on in this stage of development yet, but that is the massive opportunity in the years ahead that we're also raising capital for.
And what's the revenue that you expect that one vehicle is going to produce over its life cycle?
For the customer? or
for
for
you,
us?
for you.
So there's a 80K sales price. We think that our customers use a 24 months depreciation value, and we have a service level agreement per vehicle of 1,500 euros per month.
Thank you.
So your gross margin per unit of sales is about 40%, and you then have 36,000, so another 20% odd in terms of recurring revenues, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What's your current level of sales then? Because I understood your production levels, but I'd like to know how much you're actually selling right now.
So we are onboarding 6 customers this year, which are all in 1 or 2 vehicles, and also some ground infrastructure. So we're selling 6 docking stations this year, and a number of control towers.
Okay, so let's say 10 vehicles, you're making 30K per vehicle, plus you've got the 36K per vehicle over the 2 years, correct? Just to get an idea of sort of.
Yeah, so our revenue this year is about 1.25 million.
Yeah, okay, all right, brilliant, thank you. Thomas had a question.
I think there's
You're muted, Thomas.
a question from Thomas.
Yes, sorry again. Want to try it again. How do you see yes, in most Western European countries, you have the problem that the beyond visual line of sight flying of drones is not permitted at the moment. So you can do project-based business, but it will not become in a scalable business. So how do you see the evolution of this market here?
I'll answer that very quickly. I think what you've seen from the examples of the customers that we have, they are the type of customers that can maneuver the regulation quite well, because there are the police, the Dutch fire brigade, and those type of customers. So in the next 2 years, those are rolling out on a smaller scale. We expect that in 2025, the full integration of unmanned aviation in aerospace is at a better stage, where also other customers start to be onboarded. But for us, it's no problem to reach our sales targets in the next 2 years with these type of customers. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for your attention.
Well done. Thank you, Ben from AV. Off you go. Okay, the next startup vying for the $6 million investment award is CarsCentral, founded in 2017. Hailing from Bulgaria, please welcome onto the stage Emil Stavrev. Welcome, Emil. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for having me here. So 5 years ago, we started to ask ourselves, being vehicle owners, why can we have everything about our vehicles in one place? Why can't we have a normal two-way communication digitally with the service providers, with insurance brokers, with the leasing companies? Why, instead of losing between 3 and 7 days per year of taking care of our vehicles, someone else cannot do this for us and basically have this valuable time for us alone? So basically, we have created CarsCentral in order to give us answers to all those questions. We gathered a team since we are under the dilemma: should we just digitalize and develop a system, or should we go to the customers and actually start to do the work and take their feedback, along with the partners, along with the insurance companies, along with the leasing companies, along with everybody. So this is what we did. We went to the customers and we started with the mobile application. We have developed a CarsCentral Avtoikonom mobile application, which has everything for your vehicle in one place. And not only everything for the vehicle, but also all the services around your vehicle that you might need or have. It has complete automation of everything that's needed, and it has a digital service book that can be maintained by you or or your service provider. Now, having the mobile application and do the services ourselves, basically we wanted to be not the only one service provider, but to be the platform which can allow everybody in those industries to provide those services themselves. So we created a platform which enables every business owner in the automotive, insurance, and leasing industry to provide all the services themselves, to manage the customers themselves, and basically to save time and efforts to his customers and to his operations. So what we have created is one platform for automotive service providers with all the services in one place for all the happy and loyal customers which every business wants and needs. So the platform is huge with a lot of functionalities, and yeah, the customers and the amount of partners speak for ourselves. Thank you.
Okay, let's open up the stage to the Q&A session from the jury. Who would like to go first? No, not yet. Okay, let's ask the virtual jury. Any questions?
I have a question.
All right.
What is your current traction and how many customers are you currently servicing?
Well, so far we have 7,800 customers, nearly 8,000 already. We have more than 200 partners overall, with 140 which we are working actively, being situated here in Sofia. We have providing services for more than 80 enterprises as part of their customers' employee satisfaction policy and so on. And also we have the first white labels already launched 3 years ago. We also have 2 franchises already launched. And since we started the software as a service business model, basically to sell the platforms to all the businesses, for the last 4 months, we have more than 20 sales already. Is that enough? All right.
I can ask one more question.
Yes.
In terms of the product, the platform, do you have some sort of an onboarding tool where you provide some sort of an estimation on the price of the repairs or something like that?
No. So the platform itself provides all the digital tools for interactive communication with the customer. Now, there is no tools for price estimation, but there are tools for digital offerings, for sending the customer digital offer for the services that they might require, which basically gives transparency to the whole process, which currently it's almost not existent. Also provides added value in terms of customer satisfaction and experience, which again is almost not existent in those 2 industries. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Economics.
Any other questions?
Can you tell us a little bit more about your go-to-market strategy? Like how do you plan to make the sales and expand in the next 1-2 years?
Well, we have made the platform distributed as software as a service business model. So basically, every business can buy a license, so access to the platform, and has separate database with customers, all the tools available. And in terms of go-to-market, because we know that the platform itself can be used by anybody, anywhere, just like that. I mean, with a simple online purchase and subscription. But we are also aware that basically in the different markets we need to enable the franchise model, right? So basically the know-how that we have generated and all the processes that we digitalize to be able to be redistributed and basically copied, right? The best practices, copied and distributed everywhere. Also in the platform itself, we have learning tools, we have document sharing, we have all the knowledge which was gathered for those 5 years, shared with every basically license holder. Yeah. Go ahead. Another question.
Do you have intention to extend the functionalities of the platform, for example, to put some insurances, to put for example, rent a car and some other services?
Actually, yes, this is probably, I switched it too fast. Currently now in the mobile application, every customer from one mobile app can have all the services needed around his mobility or his vehicle. What do I mean? That with one mobile application, you have access to leasing, you have access to insurance, you have access to service station, you have access basically to all the services which are needed for your vehicle. And those services can be offered by any partner. How? By basically putting the partners in the same ecosystem with, of course, separate databases in terms of customers, where they communicate between each other. They can, if one partner receives a request for service which he don't offer, he can redirect this request to his partners as well. So this means that every partner can unlock a new portfolio of services which he can offer. And so far, this is already happening. It's not a vision, it's a proven concept by the customers, by the market, by the business, and by the biggest enterprises here, actually on the market itself. I can share some numbers about the potential, which is several trillions in this industry, but yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Emil from CarsCentral. If you just put it on the desk, thanks. Could you just bear with us for 1 second? We're just going to see who's going to be next. Just hold on. Okay, so our next startup is hopefully going to be Delivers.ai, which was founded in 2020. It comes from the UK. This is Oral Yigitkus. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. I'm Oral Yitkush, founder and CTO of Delivers.ai. As Delivers.ai, we are reimagining the local delivery for the last mile with autonomous robots. We are solving the problems of excessive logistic costs and labor shortage for the last mile. We are building up a network of autonomous robots to deliver the goods, food and grocery in a more accessible, safer and environmental friendly way. With our cutting-edge computer vision and AI technology, we are reimagining the delivery to your doorstep autonomously. We are a B2B mobility as a service company, working with online order platforms, dark stores, and dark kitchens. We are delivering their goods, their grocery and food within 1 to 2 mile areas, basically locally. We have done so far 4,000 commercial deliveries to real customers in European Union, in EU. We are currently operating 10 robots, and we are aiming to get to 1,000 robot fleet by the end of next year. With our powered by our zero emission technology, we are offering a greener way to deliver, to deliver the food and grocery in a more by supporting climate, safety, privacy, and security. Our pricing model is we charge a mobility as a service fee per order, per delivery, a one-time setup fee, and an out-of-home advertisement fee per robot per month. So there are similar models in the United States. We are differentiated by our in-house unique technology, by our B2B business model and European focus. The market is huge for the autonomous last mile delivery market, which is projected to reach 13 billion pounds in 5 years. We are offering full stack autonomous delivery service by solving the supply chain, technology, regulation, and operation problems. We are developing the legal and engineering framework for the autonomous mobility in EU and UK. There are 17 states in United States that has brought about the legislation for sidewalk delivery robots, namely PDD, personal delivery devices, and EU is following the similar bills, thanks to our partners as well from the regulation side. We are 2 founders with 15 plus years of experience. We have a 40 engineering team with diverse backgrounds and gender equality policy. We have also international reputable advisors and investors in the board. We are portfolio companies for EIT Urban Mobility, Plug and Play, and Wayra UK. This is the customer pipeline we have for 1,000 delivery robots from these international companies. To reach this goal, we are raising £5 million, and we believe it is time for autonomous delivery service to achieve sustainable cities. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Oral. I'm sure that there's lots of questions, so let's open up the Q&A session to the floor. Who'd like to go first?
So in terms of regulations, you're planning to drive on the sidewalks or on the road? How much regulation do you still need to cross before you can actually operate the service?
It is for the sidewalk, basically. Actually, we are currently operating in Amsterdam sidewalks, in the Amstelveen area, in Madrid, Goya region, in Alcobendas, in Istanbul, 2 different regions, soon in UK, and soon in Zaragoza as well. So there are, from the regulation perspective, you can get the local permission from the local city council or the municipality. They are willing to give that. It's kind of easy. They can just sign off. From the national level, some countries have adopted the regulation already. Some of them, there is no regulation, providing a gray area, which means it's not prohibited to operate on the sidewalks. So we believe that this acceleration will continue with the similar models in the United States as well. So yeah, I mean, we are currently operating. We believe that it will be more propagating.
And who provides the insurance? You, the customer?
It depends, mainly us, I can say, but sometimes we have like local partners, local operators who handle the like local operational things, and they can do the like insurance for theft or vandalism, and we do the like other operational and product liability, but where we operate, then we do the whole insurance from all perspectives.
And just taking from the autonomous cars, I mean, you have exactly the same challenge in terms of technology, not hitting people, not hitting trees, stop at the red light. This is all solved in your case?
Correct. I mean, we already solved all these problems. It's going autonomously. We can say like minimum 95% autonomy level is achieved. So we are like recognizing people, animals, traffic lights, crosswalks, sidewalks versus like car roads or the grass areas, etc., etc.
The online jury.
Hi, yeah. So I saw GoGo on the logo that you in there. So I presume that you're providing the robots for GoGo. I saw one of them a few weeks ago rolling around Madrid at the South Summit. I've really got two questions. One is with regards to USP. I've seen multiple solutions doing something similar, and I really can't, from a client perspective, a customer perspective, understand what the USP is of one compared to the other, over and above cost. That's one question. And the second question, which is very much related really, is average delivery times and distances. So these are point-to-point deliveries, and the robots don't go very fast. People get hungry, and they get, if we're looking at food at the moment, obviously with the Glovo example, people get very hungry, they get very frustrated. I actually have a last mile logistics company in our portfolio where we've even had a rider kidnapped by people that got too hungry, and they pulled him into the property and they didn't let him go. So they do weird and wonderful things. What is the average delivery time? And given the average delivery time, what distance can you do? And I guess add that to USP, if you could, in your answer.
Actually, let me start with, thank you, Tom, by the way, for your question. Let me start with the second question first. The average delivery time is 10 minutes, however, for a 1 mile area. However, that can change according to the requirement of the customer. If they want to like have more time, for example, groceries, then it can go to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But about the like food delivery times, it goes up to 40, 50, 60 minutes basically, but we are able to like deliver like in 10 to 20 minutes after we pick up the order. In terms of, I think you have a question about the theft as well. It is like the product has sensors and cameras, and it's around 45 to 50 kg, so it's not easy to tamper with it. It's not easy to open the lid, etc., like the lid of a basic car. For your first question, I couldn't understand your first question. Can you repeat that for me?
Just the USP, what actually is the main differentiator between yourselves and other similar providers?
Other similar models in the United States, you mean, right? Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, the technology. We have a different approach from the technology perspective, which we think like it's kind of unique. Second one is like there are players in the United States, their focus is the United States, our focus is UK and Europe, so their focus is not there. And United States is like maybe as big as European Union. And the third one is also one of the main things is as part of the business model, we offer a B2B mobility as a service model where our competitors mainly are offering B2C model where they take the orders. We don't take the orders. Our clients, partner take the orders and pass that information to us via an API, and then we do the delivery service for them. And you have had a question about GoGo as well, or no?
Just that I saw the Glovo branded GoGo robot.
There are partners, there are like customer and reseller in the region in Spain, so they're one of our key partners.
That's what I assumed. Okay, thank you.
Okay. one question from my side is simply, what's the business model? Are you selling the vehicles or are you selling the service?
Business model is mobility as a service. We charge per delivery, sometimes with a monthly minimum threshold. So, for example, like 1,000, 1,200, or 1,500, something like this, included some number of deliveries. We don't sell the robots. It's the mobility as a service. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much thank you, Oral. Okay, I'll take that. Okay, so let's continue with the mobility and urban tech. Next up, we have a startup called EVA, founded in 2017 from Germany. Please welcome Sid Venkat to the stage. Or maybe not. Sid, this is your one chance to get that 6 million. Oof. Nope. Okay. Let's move straight on to the following startup. It's called Cake Zero Emission. It's going to join us online from Sweden. It was founded in 2016. Please welcome Stefan Ytterborn.
Hello, I'm Stefan Ytterborn. I'm the CEO and founder of Cake Electric Motorcycles. We inspire towards zero emission by enhancing commercial as well as environmental sustainability. And we do that through developing high performance and robust utility vehicles, both for consumers as well as business to business users. What we did was basically choosing a route going forward, optimizing the combination between an electric drivetrain and an associated chassis. Up till when we started back in 2016, and still to a large extent, I would say, the majority of bikes developed with an electric drivetrain are based on the sizing, geometry, and kinematics of a combustion engine bike. And the consequence of that is that the electric version pretty much becomes a very heavy vehicle with the number of battery cells needed to be added onto it. Our take was very different. If we started from scratch, building something super light, we would be able to reduce the number of battery cells and therefore minimizing the weight of the vehicle, still getting to a high level of performance. Said and done, I would say. We went forward and launched the first bike as a limited edition back in 2018, and we've been in serious production since spring 2019. We're in the process of scaling the business from being a successful global startup into building a vehicle industry pretty much. That said, it's very much about vertical integration and setting up factories and manufacturing close to our main markets, which is initially focusing on Europe and North America and eventually tapping into Asia by 2023. And in all these regions, we will have assembly and manufacturing facilities for a number of different reasons, not at least from the sustainability aspect of things, not needing to transport material and product too far away from our users and customers. Speaking about the market itself, we knew it was going to boom at some point, and I would say that we were uncertain whether that was going to kick in now or in 3 years from now or a year before. But if I would have had this presentation 6 months ago, I would have said that our business-to-business customer is a short-haul urban transportation company with a focus on sustainability. Today, I would say that unless that same company does not have a fossil-free solution within the next 24 months, they will be out of business. What's happening is that what used to be visions and values is now becoming lawmaking regulations.
Okay. That's Stefan Ytterborn. He's also joining us now live for the Q&A session. So who wants to start? Anyone on the floor? No? How about from our virtual jury? There we go. Tom?
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I was just comparing with a startup that we have in our portfolio called Velka, and I was just looking at the pricing and the kilometers, the autonomy. And really that the pricing is about 4 times higher for a very similar range. I'm just wondering how you find yourself competing, because the one I'm talking about, Velka, aren't the best in the market. They're not the worst in the market. They've got a very good branding, and they're quite pretty motorbikes. But at 4 times the price, you've got some complications there. And I was just wondering how you're going to be able to compete on a unit economics level with other competitors right there in the market. Okay, I'm not sure if I was heard.
Tom, you were heard?
I was heard, okay. Right.
By us in Sophia. We're just trying to get Stefan back up. Afraid that we're having a bit of trouble with the connectivity with Stefan, so we're going to end the session with Cake Zero Emission and move straight on to our next startup vying for the $6 million. It's called BlueConnect Automotive. They're going to be joining us online again with a video presentation from the United States. Founded in 2017, please welcome Todd Kripe.
Hi, I'm Todd Kripe from BlueConnect Automotive. We think that if your lawn sprinklers and your doorbell can be smart devices, your used car should also be able to join the Internet of Things. In 2017, award-winning engineer Craig Tiemann pivoted from creating new car technology to inventing solutions that increase the longevity and value of used cars. Today, BlueConnect Automotive brings positive disruption to the auto industry by incorporating Craig's patented ideas into our BCA Connect open platform. Craig and I have combined skill sets and expertise that leave few gaps to fill. He is a world-class inventor with deep automotive industry expertise. I'm an entrepreneur and a car guy with deep expertise in sales and marketing. The 2012 Jeep shown here has something in common with bankruptcy, divorce, and mental health issues. All of these things used to have a negative connotation, but attitudes about them have shifted in recent years. Used cars today are now a valued commodity, and our company provides the upgrades that make the 2012 Jeep as fun, safe, and hard to steal as the 2022 Jeep. BCA Connect is an open platform for used cars that any company can access. We will provide what we think are the connected car upgrades car owners want that provide safety, security, fun, and convenience. The solutions we will release this year include Engine Lock, Car Care Pro, and Smart Key Pro. Smart Key Pro and Engine Lock are 2022 releases because we already have working prototypes of the devices, and any car owner can install and activate them. Engine Lock solves the vehicle theft problem. It works with all vehicles, it is inexpensive, it is super easy to install, and you control whether your engine will start or not start with your phone. Car Care Pro software includes a car owner and automotive dealer version, where the dealer version is offered in a B2B recurring revenue model that includes a robust messaging and loyalty solution to drive repeat service business. Our obtainable market is 250 million of the 300 million vehicles in North America. Once we conquer the North American market, we will pursue other global markets where we also have secured patents for our IP. Two areas many companies struggle with where we have deep expertise is in executing market awareness campaigns and managing a multi-channel sales organization. About 20% of our 1.5 million seed round funds will go towards marketing. We already have much of what is required to execute our go-to-market strategy, but we need 1.5 million in seed round funding to commercialize our products and have sufficient stock to sell this year. Our conservative revenue projections put us at 36 million in 2023. We are that elusive home run opportunity every investor seeks, with the ability to generate a 68x return on your investment. We have everything we need to seize the day and take advantage of the tailwinds blowing in the used car segment.
perfect timing there from Todd Kripe, who should be joining us now for the Q&A session. Can we check, is Todd there?
I'm here.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Todd. Welcome, welcome. Anyone on the floor want to start these questions up? No? All right, then let's move to the online jury. Let's have some questions from them. That's our old friend Tom Horsey.
Sorry, I seem to be making all the questions. I just saw on your presentation you had $8 million of invoicing in 2022. Could you just let us know how much of that has been realized already and how much of that is forecast?
We're a pre-revenue company, so all of it is forecast. Yeah, so that's an easy question to answer. One of the products exists right now. That's the Car Care Pro software, and we're going to, we're still field testing it, but we're going to release it, start generating revenue within the next 2 months. The two hardware devices that we'll release this year, we're already on version 2 prototypes, so the time to market, from the time we receive our seed round funding, is relatively short. All the engineering's already been done.
Good, thank you.
Maybe one other question. You were talking about IP and your distinguished technology. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What is your differentiating IP?
Yeah, we've got a significant portfolio of intellectual property. If I focus on the patents, we've got a number of granted patents that have already been published. We have some additional pending patents. They're all relevant to the connected car segment and adding value to used cars and extending those used cars' lives. I'll go into a little detail on one of the pieces of IP that we use for both our engine lock and our hood lock device. It is a Bluetooth-enabled switch that sits in the electrical system. So it enables the electrics, really any circuit. This also is applicable to industries outside the automotive industry, but we're focused on the automotive industry, where you can control that switch with your phone. When we add telematics, a TCU unit to the vehicle, that enables it to go beyond Bluetooth. So we can do Bluetooth in the car where you control many functions with your phone, but once we add a telematics unit to it, you can control all that functionality remotely, which has application for transportation as a service and rideshare fleets, rental car companies, where they have an issue granting access to authorized drivers remotely. We solve that problem. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, it does.
Okay.
Okay, I think we have another question from the virtual jury.
Hi, can you tell us a few words about your BlueConnect Automotive team? How many people in team, which area is it?
The two active members, yes, I can answer that question. The two active members of our team are myself and the founder, Craig Tiemann. Between the two of us, we don't have very many gaps in our skill set or expertise. We have two additional executives that are standing by and ready to join the team. One of them is Steve Dirks, and he's currently on our advisory board. As we progress through various stages, he will move into a fractional COO and fractional CFO position, and then he'll move into a full-time CFO position. I have a secondary executive named Patrick Kelly, who will join the team as our Chief Operating Officer. So we think we've got all of our bases covered.
Thank you.
Hi, my follow. What is your go-to-market strategy? How many units you need to sell to reach the targets you were talking a little bit before that? And being a pre-revenue company, what makes you confident that you will reach those targets?
Okay, those are all great questions. I think I have the right answers. This is, you can tell by looking at me, I'm not a young man. This is not my first time doing this. So we have some pretty deep expertise in how to launch a market awareness campaign, to raise awareness of the products, and then to take the leads that market awareness campaign generates and pursue it with a combination of direct and indirect sales resources. An example of our indirect sales resources is Tracy Ellis, who is our master distributor for the automotive dealer segment, and he's already sold some of our Car Care Pro to auto dealers. So we think that that segment is best handled by an indirect sales channel. A good example of a direct sales channel is the insurance segment. The engine lock device qualifies as a passive anti-theft device. And with the insurance companies, many of them are offering discounts if you install passive anti-theft devices. The cost of engine lock is less than the discount that is typically offered by the insurance companies. So we think we're going to get very good traction with some of those insurance companies. The other products, they'll be marketed and sold through direct and indirect channels. Not to be overlooked is our social influencer program that we call ambassadors. Just in North America, we will have 100 ambassadors, which most people would call influencers. They'll be the first people to receive our products. They'll do videos of them and show them to their followers, and we expect that we'll sell quite a few devices that way.
Great. Todd Kripe from BlueConnect Automotive there. Thank you very much, Todd, and thank you everyone for your questions. Right, we're going to see if we can get Ava back up now. Sid Venkat, who was going to be speaking here, had some flight difficulties, but we have a representative from the company here, just to give you a bit of background. It was founded in 2017. They're hailing from Germany. And let's see who we have. Hopefully it's Sid Venkat. Sid, can you hear us? Almost. Hello, Eva, can you hear us?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, is this Sid?
No.
Okay, would you just like to introduce yourself? You're live now.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Olivier Hulan. I'm the CEO and founder of EVA. At EVA, we say that infrastructure is broken and we are reinventing it. So what is the problem we are solving? Drones accomplish fantastic missions. They deliver healthcare, they improve our security, they deliver goods, but the reality is that they land on the grass, they are not controlled, and we cannot scale this business. So what we are doing is that we are creating an infrastructure. We are to drones what parking, garages, roads are to cars, and somebody has to make it, and we are making it. And why we can make it? Because we are the only one to have such an extended offer of stations, from very small stations where you can land on the go, even in gardens, to stations where you can transfer a payload to very large hubs. And the small stations, we won a Red Dot Design Award last week in Germany, in Essen, which is a very good signal for a startup. But we also work on the future, but we see more coming in 28, 29 with very large infrastructure. So the market is big. Everybody recognizes that. Actually, I believe that the COVID crisis was an accelerator for the whole drone industry. And to summarize, EVA is a mix of hardware. So we build solid stations that can be deployed in Saudi Arabia, like in Jeddah, like what we did in Saudi Arabia, or in north of Canada. But we associate this with all software environment that includes quantum encryption, cloud computing. So where we are going, we have Halliburton as an investor, we have BMW. This is a station we are going to deploy in New York State in September. It's a multimodal station, which can also charge EVs, but also you can receive directly e-commerce goods while you are charging your car. We are converging the whole industry of airborne and ground mobility through our own infrastructure. The team is very capped. I myself, I launched Tesla in South Korea, Japan. We have experts with a lot of gray hair, as you can see. And we are associating all our stations into what we call drone superhighways in Texas, in Michigan, in India. And we are now negotiating a $40 million contract with China. So this is EVA. The stations are live. Just contact me at olivier@eva.xyz, and I will tell you where you can go and see them being operated. The revenue is 1.5 million last year. We aim to reach 50 million this year. That might be way more when I look at the contracts we have negotiated. The business model is simple. We deploy one station, we scale, and then we connect other nodes of station together to reach a full infrastructure. We have licenses that are sold to drones. Any drone company can land on our stations, and we have data revenue that comes also after that. So thank you for your attention. 3 minutes is very short, but I would say one thing. When you invest in EVA, you don't only invest to solve B2B supply chain issues, you also save lives. We were the first one to deliver vaccines in India. We now deliver also drone vans, which are part of our solutions, to save lives after weather disasters. And that happens more and more, unfortunately. So thank you for your attention. If you have any question, my pleasure to answer them.
Great, thank you, Olivier Lalande from EVA there. And like he said, if you've got questions, he's got answers. Please take it away. Anyone from the jury here? Not yet. Could we get the virtual jury up?
Maybe I will start if there's no one else. Can you tell us a little bit about how you plan to scale the business? Because this seems to be quite a challenge for the business like you described.
So we have industrial partners. I mentioned BMW and Halliburton. So making the stations, we are here on the market since 2017. So I would say the mechanical part is not an issue. We have all the third parties to make it happen. And now we really focus on very large scalable deals. For instance, in Michigan, we receive, top of my head, about $70,000 per station from the state because our station can also charge EVs. So if you want to scale the business faster, we are not only deploying drone superhighways, but because we can charge also EVs, and that is patented, we can actually surf on, I would say, the classic infrastructure funding to finance the future infrastructure funding.
Just a quick follow-up. Are you manufacturing the station by yourself or do you partners for that?
No, we outsource, for instance, for Indian market, we make it in India. Otherwise, we would pay 40% custom tax. For the US, is made in Texas. For Europe, it's made in Germany. In China, we are going to create a joint venture with a very large company, hence the 40 million deals that is in the way. So we tend to think that the world market will be more and more, let's say, put into small blocks. And the global approach is not always the right one. So we are adapting to the local conditions here.
Thank you.
I have a question. You mentioned the highway that you're building. What is the distance between these stations that you need to have? So what is the optimal distance?
Yeah, that's a good question. So normally, some drones can make 200 kilometers, right? hybrid hydrogen drones that we are working with, for instance. But the goal for us is we place a station every 20 miles, particularly in Texas, that allows a drone to drop a payload, to swap the batteries, to transfer the payload to another drone. This is everything we can do here. So what we look for is density. So the more you will have stations, the more you will have connections. It goes exponentially between the stations. I would say that some drones can carry today 200 kilos. So we are now working with an industrial company. Like on a motorway, you will have a lane for small vehicles, and you will have a lane for heavier weight, which is more like a truck road, if you want. And we will have that above 150 kilos. Industries are extremely interested. So in Texas, you will certainly have a lane for payloads under 10 kilos, and then you will have a lane above 10 kilos. When I say a lane, it's not a straight line. We always work with the civil aviation authorities to define where we fly exactly. Sometimes we turn around if there is, let's say, a school or a police office building. So we adapt. That's the beauty of flying in the air. We adapt to the no traffic, literally.
So this is actually my next question. So you're, if it's a highway, you're not imagining flying along the highway, but rather through in a straight line, or?
Yes. So we work, for instance, with Halliburton, with one of our investors in Texas, and they are negotiating with, for instance, ranches, so that we can place stations on the way between Austin and San Antonio. Overall in Texas, we build 1,000 miles of drone superhighway. So we have stations also in universities. If you look at the Lone Star University in Houston, so we place stations in different locations, and we negotiate also with big companies. So think about BMW car retail stores in America. They are invested. Think about some gas stations. I want to prepare for a time where maybe there will be less CO2 cars and are looking for another source of revenue.
Oh, great. Olivier, Lalande, thank you very much indeed from that, Olivier, from EVA. And we're just going to jump back in time about 15 minutes or so to revisit Cake Zero Emission, the electric motorbike company. They had some connectivity issues. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to speak to Clara from Cake Zero Emission. Clara, can you hear us? And if you can, please introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the technical issues. I'm jumping in instead of Stefan. I'm Clara, and I'm the marketing manager at Cake. So I hope I can answer some of your questions.
Okay, thank you, Clara. Let's take it away, jury. Pepper her with some questions, please. Who wants to take it away?
I can maybe start. So there is a lot of companies that build electric motorcycles. That's not a unique idea. So what makes you different?
What we're doing is not only making electrical motorcycles and mopeds. We're trying to build a whole new industry, and everything we do is with a premium aspects. And premium for us is, innovation, performance, purpose, and physical quality. And when you combine all this, it's not about making a new product. It's also to make an innovation and a purpose in everything you do. So our way of seeing this is that we are doing a product that is not like saving the planet for now, but for the future it hopefully will. And to do electrical vehicles is, as you all know, not the solution right now, but we need to start somewhere, and this is our way of inspiring the world towards a zero emission, and we hope our products can do that. And therefore we also do products with, as said, physical quality. That's for for the purpose of having products that have the longest life cycle on the market. So it's not about just having a product that can last for 2 years. We want to ensure that you have the products for as long as possible, and that you also can reduce all the materials on the vehicles, so you don't have to produce new ones all the time, which is a big issue and the biggest one for our environment at the moment.
Thank you. Just one additional question. What are your current sales?
Sorry?
What are your sales right now, or what have you sold year to date, or whatever metrics you have?
For 2022, we have sold 3,000 bikes.
Thank you.
Just to jump in on that one again on a similar topic. So I mentioned earlier that we just doing a very basic analysis of comparing to a startup that we're invested in called Velka. We had a similar amount of autonomy in terms of kilometers. Velka, I think, do 75 kilometers, and your most your largest autonomy was 94. But the pricing was completely different. So it was 10,000 euros compared to 2,500 euros. I just find it difficult. If you really want to change an industry, I find it very difficult that at that level of pricing, that you're going to be able to achieve that. If you're already building 3,000 bikes a year, how low can you see pricing going by mass producing more and more motorbikes?
Yeah. As you said, like the price point, that's again about producing products with high quality. So the reason why we can have a high price point than some of our competitors is because we're focusing on choosing materials that last for a longer time, which, as said, will extend the life cycle of the products, which is one of our main goals. We don't want to produce new products every twice a year or so. So what we're doing is focusing again on the quality, which also give the products a higher price, but it will for sure have a longer last than any other moped on the market or motorcycle.
Wonderful. Thank you, Clara, for your time. And let's move on to the next startup vying for the investment award. We're going to hear from Boatsandgo now, which is a company founded in 2018 in Italy. We're going to be hearing a video presentation from Luciano Pagola. Take it away. Luciano Pagola from Boatsandgo. If you can hear us, could you share your presentation now, please?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm sorry we didn't make it to Sofia because the airline canceled our flight last minute. So we really apologize for not being there. We would love to be there. I will share my screen for the slides. So can you confirm you see it? Okay, here we go. So my name is Antonio, I'm a co-founder of Boatsandgo. When you want to rent a boat, there are many options. You can go for rent, you can go for charter, you can go even for boat sharing. All these options has many companies that offer these services all online. So it has become increasingly difficult to make an easy choice. Boatsandgo basically aggregates and compare all the offers on the web. A little bit like Trivago does for hotels or like Skyscanner does for flights. Actually, we don't take part into the booking process. So we put you directly in contact with the provider. What is the difference with other platforms? Boatsandgo compares all the offers on the market. Other sites just gives you what they sell, so only a small part of what is available in any harbor. We realized that during the development of this software that many small and micro companies were not digitalized yet. So we released it recently, a couple of months ago, a software as a service, which has an entry level which is freemium, and everyone can join. They can be listed on Boatsandgo and other portals, which are our partners, and they also have really interesting digital management tool. You see there's a dashboard with many things. Which is the impact, because it's not always easy to get it at once. We are pushing the circularity because we are pushing the sharing economy into the blue economy. This is very important. Sharing economy is a pillar of circularity and not always is very pushed. We also, through our SaaS, has a direct impact on the ambient, because empowering small and micro entrepreneurs, they are who better know the cost of fragilities, the cost of critical points, and they all has a direct interest in preserving. And also our SaaS, we notice, has an important impact on creating new jobs and new enterprises, because we are sharing good practices. Actually, we have some competitors. We sell the OTAs, we sell big vacations on boats and sailing online. We are the only one who provides a SaaS, and we are the only one to put you in touch with the final provider. Sorry, I had to go a little bit because it's technical fun. So it's a huge market with 15 billion euros. We rose 125 in our pre-seed, and we are rising another 200 now. We have a forecast of 4 billion in the 5 years. Our business model is in a pay-per-click, a fee on a successful request, and also, as I told you, the freemium SaaS. Actually, we are tractioning on the 3 lines since January. We have 3 early adopters, our partner companies for the pay-per-click. We already have 37 successful bookings. This is a week ago now. They are increasing. We have 20,000 users on our platform.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem at all. It's Luciano that I'm speaking to. Luciano.
I was supposed to be there.
No problem. Luciano, I'm speaking to Luciano, right? Or Antonio?
No, I'm Antonio.
Okay, Antonio. No problem. Listen, thank you for coming up online. I'm very sorry that you had issues with your flights. Maybe in a few years, next time we can take a boat. Who knows? And let's just open up the Q&A session to the floor. Who wants to speak first? No, not in the room. Okay, let's try the virtual investment jury. Do we have any questions?
I guess I can start with one. Normally when I see projects like yours, the revenue projections are much more aggressive. Not always, realistic, but the founders are pushing for more. What is the bottleneck for you? What prevents you from growing the business faster in the first years?
Well, actually, we are focusing on the bookings, because it's the way the fleets are used to work. And we are looking forward for the next winter, in which the big boat shows are going on, and we are looking for more partners into B2B, so the big fleets and the big agencies. There will be a lot interested in the pay-per-click system. We also are very surprised by the performance of the software, because in very few weeks we have like 10 onboardings once, and they are keeping coming. Because as I can say on the presentation, it's a service that you feel that people actually like it very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What's your process of onboarding fleets?
So onboarding fleets that are not yet digitalized. So these fleets do not distribute their products online yet. So they enter through our platform. Sometimes they contact us. Sometimes they go to log in. They create their own account and they upload the boats. After a while, of course, there are a number of premium services. Some of them are immediately interesting in having a booking plan working for more than 5 books. So a more complete product. And many of them are surprised that, they always working with an agenda and a phone. So they are surprised of what is the power of an electronic, a full digital tool.
And how do you reach them in order to end up on the website at the first place?
They reach out us because we had in this month a couple of campaigns testing on social media and also Google, but we spent like 2.5K, so nothing really important. And we produced all this content that you saw in traction, so we made out of the funnel more than 10K. We are now looking for partners and going for a next season that will be in the Mediterranean or the next winter in the Caribbean, pushing out.
Thanks for your presentation. There's a startup from Greece called Easy Boats. I don't know if you heard of it. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. How does your model differentiate from Easy Boat, where it's a booking, essentially a booking platform for boats?
Yeah, we don't make the bookings. This is the one great differentiation. So we are not taking part in the booking process. So we don't need this big, huge teams for every eventuality that can happen. You're renting a boat on the sea, so you need insurance, big things. You need people talking to the customers. We are just generating the leads and making our clients close deals. So actually, we differentiate ourselves from any other company because the users can consult all the offers available on the web, not only what we directly sell. And we don't take part in the booking process. So we don't have all the problems with the insurance, the customer care, customer attention, post-selling, managing the money. We just are like the same business model that as SkyStar.
Thanks.
I have a question going back to meta search business model. So you claim that you have more than 20,000 boats on your website, and that's the kind of like competitive advantage towards marketplaces. But if you look at big marketplaces, all of them claim to have at least 20,000 boats on their website as well. So is that really a problem of insufficient supply?
No, actually, we streamline most of the 20,000 boats from the main channel managers, as probably most of the other OTAs do. But on the other side, we have our own boats in boarding, which is around, and another channel manager who sells another 1,000 boats. We can add as soon as we are ready more channel managers, and so we arrive at the top of double that number. For now, we don't see the need to do that because our MVP is performing, but we need more tests.
Okay, great. Thank you very much indeed, Antonio Amendola from Boatsandgo. Right, let's move on to our final contestant for the $6 million Investment Awards in Mobility and Urban Tech. We are going to hear now from AirGO.Ai. It's a company from the US, founded 2 years ago. Let's have a listen to the video presentation from Jeff Zika.
My name is Jeff Ziga, CEO and founder of AirGO.Ai, where I lead a group of Microsoft developers and managers with over 100 years experience developing, deploying, and selling software products worldwide. I'm a U.S. Navy vet, serial founder, and alumni of Microsoft Digital, Compaq, HP, and others. Rob Bowman is a 30-year veteran of program and project management at Microsoft, Adobe, and GE. Eric Jacobson, a SQL and containerization expert. Jeff Munzie was the architect of MSN and NBC. And Andy Pasta, a researcher and business development manager at ISRDs. 18 years ago, I almost died in an auto accident. I was taking off from Kuala Lumpur when a motorcycle tried to pass me on the shoulder. I swerved to miss and ended up hitting the divider, flipped end over end 7 times, had several surgeries, spent 3 months in the hospital, and the next 2 years in crutches. This is my daughter, Jacqueline. My accident happened to me, but now it could happen to her. New automobiles have many safety features and systems that can keep our families and our children safe when they drive. But these only represent 6% of the vehicles on the road today. What if I told you we could add same new car safety features to any car, anywhere, to protect all our family members when they drive? Introducing the StereoVision platform. It's a low-cost, standalone, smart, connected, easy-to-install, 3 devices and companion app that has new car safety, e-call type alerts, and usage-based insurance capabilities to any vehicle. And uniquely, StereoVision does private facial recognition on the driver to ensure only authorized drivers are able to drive the vehicle and provide insurance companies with vehicle and driver-specific telematics. Our initial market is the parents of the 2 million new teenage drivers in the U.S. every year, which represents $1.9 billion opportunity. The vehicle safety and usage-based insurance device market is estimated to be $25 billion a year in the U.S. and $350 billion internationally. We get paid by charging them a monthly app subscription fee and 3 cents per mile driven for vehicles equipped with StereoVision system, which project will lead to revenue stream of that $1 million a month by the end of 2023 and $20 million a month by 2025, and lifetime value of $1,540 per customer. A competitive environment rather diverse and complex. Fortunately, all potential direct compares like Amsterdam, Mobileye, that move on. Others are focused on the tier 1 or fleet market, but we're playing our sandbox yet. What we do compete with is the parenting apps like TrueMotion and H1. These are all app-based solutions with StereoVision as a standalone vehicle-mounted, use-based insurance capable hardware device. Our alpha testing of StereoVision MVP is complete. We're in negotiations with several major insurance providers to conduct consumer pilots later this year. We will conduct a fleet pilot later this year in Minnesota. We are on track to console our MVP product to new and aged drivers launching this quarter. We've raised $52,000 today, and we're working on an equity crowdfunding campaign, which will launch soon. I'm Jeff Ziga, founder and CEO of AirGO.Ai. Feel free to contact any of us if you have any questions. Let's prevent teenage driver accidents together.
Thank you very much, Jeff. That was your presentation there from AirGO.AI, and hopefully we should have Jeff Ziga online with us for the Q&A session. Jeff, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here, if you can see me at top.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for your presentation. So let's open it up to the floor. Who would like to ask the first question? Any takers? No. In that case, we will go to our virtual jury and ask if anyone from the online world would like to ask Jeff's first question. It's Tom Horsey, Kelsurprise.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Tom.
Great to see the solution. Funny enough, we also have one in our portfolio that has a similar technological solution. So I'm guessing that the installation cost is a few $1,000s, and just sort of calculating the number of kilometers driven generally in Europe, which the renting contracts tend to be on 10,000 kilometers a year. So I'm guessing that's the sort of the average that most people do. You'd only actually be generating about 200 and something odd dollars per year per car. So your payback would be really long. How are you going to handle that in terms of the capex?
Well, your numbers are wrong for one, because our device cost is roughly $200. The DMS device cost is roughly $200 retail. The ADAS device cost is still in flux, but we're shooting for 450. So the installation costs on these is nothing because they're self-installed. They're user installed. It's really easy to install. I can equip a vehicle in about 3 minutes. So for the DMS takes power off the ODB port if it exists, and the other ones take off the USB ports. Or cigarette lighter adapters. So it's really our whole focus from the beginning is being as low cost as possible. Our devices are based on the lowest power CPUs we can use that run Linux operating systems. So our entire software stack is transportable across platform. So we can run on Pi-based commercial Pi devices. We can run on NVIDIA devices with different performance. So the price point as in the consumer side is absolutely as low as possible, using literally $15, $20 modules and cameras and GPSs and so forth and so on. On the commercial side, which we'll go into later, that will be NVIDIA Orin based, so it would be more of $1,000, $2,000 installation, but it'd be much more capable devices on the commercial side. So, you expect more. But as far as how we make the price point work, basically by making the device as low cost as possible, making the software stack completely transportable between hardware platforms with minor modifications, and leveraging on, well, for example, AWS for reporting and so forth. That's very low cost for us. Leveraging on store and forward modems and from Blues Wireless on the DMS side, leveraging on insurance companies. So we can make it work at 3 cents a mile, basing on an average life or average mileage of 5,000 miles a year in the US.
Thank you, Tom Horsey, for your questions. Appreciate it. Are there any other questions that we want to take from the floor or from the virtual jury? Nope. Okay, then. Thank you very much indeed, Jeff, for your presentation and for speaking to us. Okay, and that ends the session on mobility and urban tech. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for the investment jury, online and in person, and to all the startups who gave their wonderful presentations. I'm going to now hand over to my colleague Alexander Dimitrov, who's going to host the next session. Thank you very much.